I had just moved into a quiet apartment complex after my breakup, hoping to start over. The city noise was a background hum, but my heart was loud with loneliness. I wasn't looking for anyone, just some peace. A few weeks in, I met Mrs. Helen, my neighbor, a kind woman in her 50s who offered me cookies one afternoon and a warm smile that reminded me people could still be nice. We started chatting here and there, short talks in the hallway or shared laughs about power outages. Then one day, she introduced her stepson, Ethan. He had just moved in with her after finishing college and was helping her settle some things. I didn't pay much attention at first, just a polite hello and goodbye. But Ethan had this quiet charm, a calm presence that didn't beg for attention. And somehow that caught mine. The next day, I bumped into him at the mailbox. We chatted for a few minutes. His voice was smooth, thoughtful, like he chose his words carefully. Over time, these little exchanges turned into real conversations. We'd walk around the block, talk about books, music, and sometimes nothing at all. I started to look forward to those moments more than I wanted to admit. Ethan was different. He didn't talk to fill silence. He listened. He remembered things I said days before. He noticed when I looked tired or when I was dressed up just to feel better about myself. He never made a move, but his presence lingered in my mind longer than it should have. I began to wonder if he felt it too. That unspoken curiosity between us. One afternoon, I got caught in a rainstorm on my way back from the grocery store. Bags soaked, hair dripping. I was trying to unlock my door when Ethan appeared. Without a word, he took the bags from me and opened the door. I didn't say thank you immediately. We just stood there for a second, wet, breathless. I laughed. He smiled. And something shifted. We didn't talk about it. We just let it be. But from that moment, the air between us changed. I started noticing more. The way his eyes softened when he looked at me, how he waited outside his door sometimes when I came home, pretending to check his phone. Every little thing became something I held on to. I didn't tell anyone, especially not Helen. She trusted me, treated me like family. And this, whatever it was, felt like a secret I wasn't ready to understand yet. I told myself it was harmless, that I was just imagining things. But I knew better. Feelings like this don't show up unless something real is already taking shape. Ethan began stopping by more often. At first, it was casual, bringing over leftover food his stepmother made, offering help with small things around the apartment. But there was something extra in the way he lingered after each visit. Our conversations grew longer, more personal. We shared things people usually keep guarded. I told him about my past relationship, how it ended with lies and silence. He opened up about feeling out of place since his father's passing and his complicated bond with Helen. We laughed easily together, sometimes too easily. There were moments when his hand would brush mine, and neither of us moved away. Moments when his gaze held mine just a little too long. My heart would race, and I'd try to act like it didn't mean anything. But deep down, I already knew it did. One evening, we were cooking together. The kitchen felt too small, our movements too close. We were joking, and he turned to face me, serious all of a sudden. He said he couldn't pretend anymore. That he liked me. That being around me felt natural, like it was supposed to be something more. I froze. Not because I didn't feel the same, but because everything in me screamed that this was wrong. Helen had been nothing but kind to me. I was her neighbor, maybe even a friend. Getting involved with her stepson would be the ultimate betrayal. I didn't answer right away. He apologized, said he just needed to be honest. I respected that. But it didn't make things easier. That night, I couldn't sleep. My mind was a war zone, one side pulling me toward what felt right in the moment, the other warning me about what could go wrong. The next day, I avoided him. For hours, I sat in my apartment trying to convince myself it was all just temporary feelings. But when I saw him again, everything fell apart. We didn't even speak when it happened. A glance. A step closer. And then his lips were on mine. Soft, deliberate, as if he wasn't asking for anything, just offering what had been sitting between us for weeks. I kissed him back. I didn't stop. I didn't want to. After that, nothing was the same. We kept our relationship quiet. No dates, no public signs, just hidden moments behind closed doors. It wasn't ideal, but it felt necessary. At least for now. I knew what we were doing might come back to haunt us, but I couldn't bring myself to end it. Not yet. Not when it finally felt like I was with someone who saw me for exactly who I was. Still, the guilt lingered. Every time Helen smiled at me, my stomach turned. Every time she spoke fondly of Ethan, I felt the pressure building. I was living between two truths, one that felt right and one that felt terribly wrong. And the worst part was, I didn't know which one would catch up with me first. Things began to shift. Ethan, once open and consistent, started pulling away. He'd cancel plans last minute or reply hours later with vague excuses. At first, I told myself he was just busy, overwhelmed maybe. But my gut knew better. The warmth in his voice had faded, replaced with hesitation. I began noticing things, his phone always face down, his eyes darting when I asked simple questions, the way he avoided being alone with me when we were at Helen's. One evening, I heard them arguing through the wall. Helen's voice was sharp, accusing. "You promised me, Ethan. You said you'd keep your distance. Do you think I'm blind?" Her words hit like ice. I hadn't realized she knew, or at least suspected. My chest tightened with dread. I wasn't just hiding from her. I had been betraying someone who had only ever been kind to me. I confronted Ethan the next day. He didn't deny it. Instead, he looked tired, cornered. He admitted Helen had warned him not to get involved. She thought he was using me to fill a void, not because he truly cared. Then he hesitated and said something I'll never forget. He told me I reminded him of someone. Someone from his past. An ex-girlfriend he never really got over. I stared at him, waiting for the part where he said it didn't matter. But that part never came. I asked him if he had been in touch with her. He looked away. That was all the answer I needed. I felt like a substitute. A warm place to rest until he figured himself out. The worst part was, I had ignored all the signs. I wanted the version of him that brought me food, that laughed at my jokes, that held me like I meant something. But that version wasn't the whole truth. I walked out without another word. I didn't cry. Not then. It was a numb kind of heartbreak. The kind where your body already knew it was coming, but your heart had begged for a different outcome. I kept thinking about Helen, how she saw it before I did. How she had tried, in her own way, to protect me from the fall. Ethan tried reaching out after that. Messages filled with apologies, saying he was confused, that he never meant to hurt me. He claimed he cared, that he just didn't know how to handle it all. But caring wasn't enough. Not when honesty had been missing all along. I read his words, but never replied. I couldn't. He hadn't just broken my heart. He'd made me question my own judgment. The silence between us became permanent. The man I thought could be something real turned out to be just another version of what I was trying to escape in the first place. A person who wanted love, but didn't know how to give it without breaking something in return. Days turned into weeks, and the ache slowly dulled, though the regret never fully left. I started focusing on rebuilding the quiet life I had originally come for. No distractions, no blurred lines, just peace. Still, every now and then, I'd catch myself wondering what could have been if Ethan had just been honest. If I had been smarter. But those thoughts didn't linger like before. They didn't hold power anymore. They were just remnants of a lesson learned the hard way. Helen avoided me at first. The hallway talks, the friendly smiles, they vanished. I couldn't blame her. She had every right to feel betrayed. I considered knocking on her door, apologizing, trying to make sense of it all. But what could I say that would fix the damage? That I didn't mean for it to happen? That it felt real at the time? Excuses never sound right when trust is already broken. Eventually, we crossed paths again by chance. She didn't say much, just a polite nod, then walked on. It hurt more than I expected. Her silence felt heavier than any argument. That moment made it clear some bridges, once burned, never rebuild the same way. I had lost more than just a complicated romance. I had lost a kind neighbor who once felt like family. I began journaling, pouring everything out so I wouldn't carry it inside. That helped. Not to forget, but to understand. I stopped romanticizing the connection with Ethan and started seeing it for what it was, A moment of weakness dressed up as intimacy. I had ignored the warning signs, confused attention with affection, mistook secrecy for something meaningful. But I wasn't angry anymore. I had made choices too. I had allowed myself to believe in something that wasn't built on truth. One day, I heard Helen laughing with someone outside her door. It stung, knowing I wasn't part of that world anymore. But it also reminded me life keeps moving. People heal, sometimes with you, sometimes without. I had to do the same. So, I forgave myself. That was the hardest part. Forgiving him was easy. He was just another story I wouldn't revisit. But letting go of the shame I carried, that took strength. I no longer looked for signs of him. I didn't wonder if he thought of me or if he regretted anything. It didn't matter. I learned to enjoy my own company again, to make space for the kind of love that wouldn't need to hide, wouldn't leave me questioning my worth. I stopped looking back, not because it didn't matter, but because I mattered more. In the end, the heartbreak wasn't the betrayal. It was the realization that I had accepted less than I deserved just to feel something again. But that pain taught me where to draw the line, how to protect my heart better, and how to never settle for half-truths pretending to be love.